In the broad spectrum of Zelda 64 ROM hacks and mods, you will see a range of project goals. Often the aim might be to recreate a lost beta or pre-release experience, or possibly to push the envelope of difficulty and challenge the in-game physics to previously inconceivable levels. Others try to fill in story gaps and give beloved characters additional motivation or closure. So what about Zelda Indigo? Well, let's start here with this statement. It's incredible. It's one of the first mods to use the Ocarina of Time Decompilation Project, which bursts open the floodgates for new character creation, items, and features. This game is so intelligent with how it plays with the norm and simultaneously implements quality of life features that, after using them, I'm shocked they weren't in the original game. The Chapter 1 demo completely snuck by me over a year ago, and I only just learned about it because Chapter 2 was recently released. Today we're focusing only on Chapter 1, but I will absolutely be covering the sequel demo because from what I've seen and heard, it's even better in every way. Chapter 1 is amazing, Chapter 2 is seemingly stunning. But before we dive in and get started, I want to thank the sponsor for this episode, the makers of this shirt right here, and coincidentally the shirt I was wearing before I started shooting, Into the AM. Into the AM has a cozy fall collection as well as comfy graphic tees that frankly I've been wearing more and more and more. The designs range from subtle to eclectic and conversation starting. Obviously, as you can see, some of these are quite loud. And they're actually shrink resistant. This is a medium. It fits like a medium. After multiple washes and dries, it still fits like a medium. Thank God. And if you've been interested in Into the AM, now is the time to buy because they are doing their site-wide Black Friday sale from now until November 30th. It is 30 to up to 80% off their clothing on top of the 10% off that you get for clicking my affiliate link in the description below. That affiliate link auto-populates the coupon code H4G-AM. So thank you again everybody for supporting the show, enjoy your shirts, and let's continue. Diving in, the quality of life features, oh my god, here they are, and they are beautiful. For starters, Link is faster in this game. If you have nothing equipped, you run like the wind. It's refreshing, and frankly, I'm in love. It can be a little hard to line up your rolls initially, because you're so fast. In the beginning, you actually have no weapons, so you need to knock branches off trees. However, so long as you have something to carry, you can toggle that item equipped or not equipped to slow or increase your speed. The dev also kept in some debug features and explains how to access them. Free movement mode. Map select. Collision/hitboxes. These are not necessary to play, but certainly fun to tinker with. Now, this next one is a big one. It's simple, but it is game-changing. You have two sets of C buttons. Toggle between them by pressing down on the D-pad. This drastically cuts down the time you spend in menu re-equipping items to the C buttons. 6 items at your disposal at all times. And special boots and tunics can be set to the C buttons just like regular items. Again, this doesn't sound like much, but the result is a significant streamlining effect to the gameplay. You spend less time toggling, more time playing. Furthermore, puzzles can now involve multiple items more easily without you having to go back and forth between the menu. Take that, add it to the increased movement speed, and you really have a different feel to the gameplay. Lastly, your fairy companion is not Navi, but Tail from Majora's Mask. The advice he gives is actually helpful since many of the enemies have very specific weaknesses. Seemingly, this takes place after Majora's Mask, but there's almost no emphasis on story. However, Chapter 2 of Zelda Indigo explains and expands the story and scenario much more. The world you inhabit is delightfully original. It's all new. It also feels like you're playing somebody's passion project, like literally and figuratively. There's an omnipresent narrator that chimes in from time to time in unexpected and, frankly, very charming ways. This is set up at the beginning when a signpost explains the goals of the project. You feel like someone's speaking to you throughout. An example of this is when I got to the main field. I didn't know where to go, so I went right. I should have gone left. Where I needed to go was immediately to the left, but I did this giant loop full of dead ends instead. However, I'm actually glad I did. Each unavailable area is guarded by an NPC who explains away why Link cannot enter. But the narrator explains it more plainly. Hey, this just isn't part of the demo. Later on, you can get the Roc's Feather, which allows you to jump, or you could just use the debug features to get past these gates. And here's what happens. Other times, you might find yourself exploring for seemingly no reason. Or the developer may simply tell you that they haven't thought of what to do with the area you're in yet. Now, some players might be annoyed by this, but I think there's a lot of charm involved throughout because of it, and frankly, I'm amused. Honestly, I know once it's a finished game, it probably won't have many of these moments, but I do hope the developer still finds ways to deliver a bit of this quirk. It made the demo a unique experience compared to other mods I've played. And I think that'll still be the case, possibly via Tail. So for example, there's a custom redead that's in the sort of fast zombie category, and the first time you encounter it, it's quite a surprise. The second time, Tail gets to chime in his thoughts. Speaking of the enemies, there is quite a bit unique here, especially in unexpected size variations. Tiny enemies or giant versions. How big did these things grow? I'd never really considered the life cycle of a monster before, but I guess it would make sense that the plants would keep growing if left alone. The end boss, by the way, spoilers for the next few seconds here, is also extraordinarily original. You need to use your bomb arrows to disperse the bats defending it, and then attack, attack, attack. All while hoping to not get rushed. Okay, end spoilers. Now I mentioned bomb arrows, and that's just one of the unique items here. We also have bombs that work underwater. Here's the Rock's Feather that allows you to jump and do a sort of double jump to reach further ledges. In the endgame, we also get the Pegasus Boots, which replaces the charged sword attack with a magic-powered charged dash, which is pretty wild. With all of these new items, or at least new to Ocarina of Time, and new ways to utilize them, it really opens up the game for new puzzles and new ways to play. Frankly, the whole thing feels very fresh. Overall, though, it is a short experience, 2 dungeons and some village/overworld exploration. However, like I said, Chapter 2 is already out and seems to be much more fleshed out. And frankly, I can't wait. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check out the mod, and I absolutely recommend you do. That said, thank you so much for watching and subscribing. It definitely helps the channel. And again, if you are thinking about Into the AM, now is the time to do it with their Black Friday sale. Link in the description below. Aside from that, thank you again, everybody, and hope to see you back for the next one.